My brother got married while I was in surgery after a devastating injury, and my family blamed me for ruining his wedding. 2 years ago, I took a construction job to help pay for Trevor's wedding expenses. I wanted to contribute since money was tight, and I knew how important this day was to him. I was working on scaffolding when it collapsed. I fell 3 stories. I remember hitting the ground. The pain was unreal. Broke my spine in 2 places, shattered my leg, broke 3 ribs. I was rushed into emergency surgery. The doctors told me later I was lucky to be alive. The hospital called my parents while I was being prepped. My mom answered. Here's what she told the doctor. We can't come right now. It's 2 days before my son's wedding and we have too much to handle. Not, is he okay? Not, we'll be right there. Just, we're busy. I was in surgery for 6 hours. When I woke up, the only person there was my best friend, Levi. He'd gotten a call from the hospital since he was my emergency contact at work. He stayed the entire time. My parents didn't show up that night or the next day. I spent that first week in the most pain I've ever experienced. I couldn't move without help. I couldn't even sit up. The nurses kept asking where my family was. I didn't know what to tell them. When I could finally use my phone, I called my mom. Straight to voicemail. I called my dad. Same thing. I texted them both. I'm awake, please come. Nothing. I texted Trevor. Hey, I know the wedding is soon, but I really need you guys. Read receipt. No response. Levi and his girlfriend stayed with me every day. They brought me food the hospital cafeteria didn't have. They smuggled in my favorite snacks. They kept me sane. But every time visiting hours started, I'd look at the door hoping to see my family. They never came. The wedding day arrived. I was still in the ICU. That morning, I got a voicemail from my mom. She said, "Honey, we're so sorry we haven't been able to visit. Today's Trevor's big day, and we just can't be in 2 places at once. We'll come see you in a few days. Hope you're feeling better." Hope you're feeling better. Like I had the flu. Trevor never called. Not once. Later, I found out why. My parents had told him about the accident, and he'd said, and I quote, "Don't let this become drama at my wedding. We can deal with it after." I was his little brother. I'd agreed to be his best man, and I was drama. The wedding happened without me. I saw the photos later on Facebook. Everyone smiling, dancing, celebrating. My parents posted about the perfect day and their perfect son. Not a single mention of me. 3 weeks went by, I was transferred to a rehab facility. I had to relearn how to walk. The physical therapy was brutal. Every step felt like my spine was going to snap again. Levi's parents offered to let me stay with them during recovery. They became the family mine refused to be. Week 4. My parents finally showed up at the rehab center. I thought maybe they'd come to apologize, to explain, to check on me. Instead, my mom sat down and said, "We need to talk about what you did." I was confused. What I did? She said some relatives had heard about my accident and were upset they didn't come to the hospital. Apparently, this had caused tension at the wedding reception. Some people left early. Some people made comments. My dad chimed in. "You really couldn't have waited a few more days to have your accident? Did you have to make everything about you?" I stared at them. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. Trevor was there too. He said, "Look, I get that you were hurt, but you have to understand. This was supposed to be my day, the happiest day of my life. And instead, half the guests were whispering about you. They blame me for having an accident, for nearly dying, for existing." I told them to leave. I didn't speak to them for 2 years. Then, 2 months ago, my cousin Michelle reached out. She asked why I disappeared from the family. She seemed genuinely concerned. I laid everything out for Michelle. She went quiet, then said, "Your parents talk about you like you're gone, like you died or something." I was confused. "What do you mean?" She hesitated. "Your mom says things like, 'I used to have 2 sons,' or 'before we lost him.' She gets this sad look and people comfort her." My hands started shaking. "She's getting sympathy for losing me when I'm right here?" Michelle's voice cracked. "Last week someone mentioned seeing you around town, healthy and walking." Your mom's face changed completely. The sadness disappeared. She looked angry that you were okay. I sat there on my couch, phone pressed against my ear, trying to process what Michelle had just told me. My mom was literally pretending I was dead. Not just gone, not just estranged, but actually dead. And she was angry that I wasn't. "Michelle," I said, my voice shaking, "are you absolutely sure about this?" "Yeah," she said softly. "I'm sorry, I thought you should know. Last Thanksgiving, she brought up your name and started crying. She said she missed you every day and that losing a child was the hardest thing she'd ever been through. Everyone at the table was hugging her and telling her how strong she was. But I'm alive," I said, like saying it out loud would make it make sense. "I'm literally alive and she knows it." "I know," Michelle said. "That's why I called. This is messed up." After we hung up, I just sat there for a while. Levi came over with pizza that night like he did most Fridays, and I told him everything. He put down his slice and just stared at me. "That's insane," he said. "Like actually insane. What are you gonna do?" "I don't know," I said. "Part of me wants to just let it go. They've been dead to me for 2 years anyway. What does it matter if she tells people I'm dead?" Levi shook his head. "Nah, man, that's not the same thing. She's using your near-death experience to get sympathy points. That's sick." He was right. It was sick, but I still wasn't sure what to do about it. The next day, I got a text from Michelle. "Your mom still has your hospital bracelet in her purse. She showed it to me and some other people at church last week. She was crying and saying, 'This is all I have left of him.'" I read the text 3 times. My hospital bracelet, the one they'd put on me when I was admitted, the one I'd been wearing when I almost died while they were busy with Trevor's bachelor party. That's when I decided I needed to see this for myself. It was a Sunday afternoon when I drove to my parents' house. I hadn't been there in 2 years. The driveway looked the same. The stupid garden gnome my mom loved was still by the front front door. Everything looked normal, like nothing had changed. I parked across the street and waited. I don't know what I was waiting for, honestly. Maybe I was hoping I'd see something that would make me turn around and leave. Then I saw her through the kitchen window. My mom. She was talking to two women I recognized as neighbors, Linda and Joyce. They were holding a casserole dish. I watched as one of them reached over and touched my mom's arm. That sympathetic gesture people do when someone's grieving. That's when my mom looked up and saw me through the window. Her eyes went wide. For a second, I thought maybe she'd be happy to see me. Instead, she quickly wiped her eyes and mouthed two words at me. Not now. Not now. Like I was interrupting something. I got out of the car and walked to the front door. I could hear voices inside, muffled, but clear enough. Such a blessing you have people checking on you, Linda was saying. I can't imagine what you've been through. It's been so hard, my mom said, her voice thick with emotion. Some days I can barely get out of bed. I rang the doorbell. The conversation inside stopped. I heard footsteps, then the door opened. My mom stood there, her face pale. Behind her, Linda and Joyce were staring at me like they'd seen a ghost, which I guess in a way they had. Hi, Mom, I said. Linda gasped. Joyce's mouth fell open. The casserole dish nearly slipped from her hands. My mom recovered quickly, plastering on a smile that didn't reach her eyes. Oh, honey, what a surprise. She turned to the neighbors. Ladies, this is my son. But you said, Linda started. It's complicated. My mom cut her off, her smile getting tighter. Thank you so much for the casserole. I'll talk to you both later. She practically shoved them out the door. Linda and Joyce kept looking back at me, confused and whispering to each other as they walked down the driveway. Once they were gone, my mom shut the door and whirled on me. What the hell are you doing here? She hissed. Me? I said, my voice rising. What am I doing here? What are you doing, Mom? Telling people I'm dead? I never said you were dead, she said. But she wouldn't look at me. You tell people you lost me. You cry about how hard it is. You carry around my hospital bracelet like it's some kind of memorial. Michelle told me everything. Her face flushed red. Michelle had no right. Michelle was being a decent human being, I said. Which is more than I can say for you. You don't understand, she said. And now there were actual tears in her eyes. You embarrassed me in front of Linda and Joyce. Do you know how hard it's been? They finally started checking on me, bringing me things, asking how I'm doing. And now you've ruined it. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. You're mad at me for embarrassing you? You've been lying about me for sympathy. I'm not lying, she shouted. The son I raised did die in that hospital. You came back different, harder. You don't need me anymore. You don't call. You don't visit. As far as I'm concerned, I did lose you. Because you chose Trevor's wedding over my life, I shouted back. You chose a party over your son who was dying. It wasn't just a party, she said, her voice breaking. It was the most important day of Trevor's life. And what was I, a minor inconvenience? Before she could answer, I heard the front door open. My dad walked in, carrying grocery bags. He saw me, and something in his face just deflated. Oh, he said, just that. Oh, not son, not, it's good to see you, just, oh. Like I was a problem he'd been hoping to avoid. Did you know? I asked him. Did you know she's been telling people I'm dead? He set the grocery bags down slowly, carefully, like he was buying time to think of an answer. I knew she still talks about you, he said finally. I didn't know the specifics. That's a lie, I said. You knew. You had to know. He sighed, rubbing his face with both hands. Look, I knew she tells people you're gone. I didn't know how to stop her without making everything worse. It's her way of coping. Coping with what? I asked. With me being alive? With you cutting us off, he said. With losing you. She didn't lose me. I was yelling now. I couldn't help it. She abandoned me. You both did. And now she's getting sympathy for it like she's the victim. She is struggling, my dad said, and he sounded so tired. This has been hard on her. It's been hard on her? I couldn't breathe. I actually couldn't breathe. I fell 3 stories. I broke my spine. I had to learn to walk again. And you're telling me this has been hard on her? You don't understand what it's like, my mom said, wiping her eyes. Everyone in this neighborhood has always ignored me. I've lived here for 30 years and no one even knows my name. But when they thought I'd lost you, suddenly people cared. They brought me food. They asked how I was doing. They saw me for once in my life. I stared at her. So you're using my accident to feel important? It's not like that, she said, but even she didn't sound convinced. Then what is it like, Mom? Explain it to me. She didn't answer. She just stood there, tears running down her face, and I realized she couldn't explain it because there was no good explanation. The front door opened again, and Trevor walked in. Great. The whole family reunion. What's going on? He asked, looking between all of us. I could hear you guys shouting from outside. Your brother decided to show up unannounced and ruin Mom's life, my dad said. Wow, I said. That's really how you're gonna frame this? Trevor looked at me, then at Mom, who was still crying. What did you do? He asked me. I exist, I said. Apparently that's a problem. Don't be dramatic, Trevor said. He walked over to Mom and put his arm around her. Why are you upsetting her? I'm upsetting her? I laughed, but it wasn't funny. She's been telling people I'm dead, Trevor. She shows them my hospital bracelet at church and cries about losing me. Trevor was quiet for a second, then he shrugged. So, I repeated. That's your response? So? "Look," Trevor said, using that condescending tone he always used when he thought he was being reasonable. "I get that you're upset, but you have to understand that Mom processes trauma differently than other people. If telling people about what happened helps her mental health, why can't you just let it go?" "Because I'm not dead," I said. "She's lying." "She's not technically lying," Trevor said. "You did get hurt. She is grieving. Just because you recovered doesn't mean she did. Are you listening to yourself?" I asked. "You're defending her for telling people I'm dead?" "I'm defending her for coping the best way she knows how," Trevor said. "And honestly, you cut us off anyway. You basically are dead to this family. So what does it matter what she tells people?" That hit me like a punch to the gut. Not because it hurt, but because it was so casual. Like my existence, my life, meant nothing to him. "You know what?" I said. "You're right, I am dead to you. Have been for 2 years. The difference is I'm not lying about it." I turned to leave, but my mom grabbed my arm. "Wait," she said. "Please don't leave like this." I looked down at her hand on my arm, then back up at her face. "Why not? You've already grieved for me. Consider this closure." I pulled away and walked out. As I got to my car, I could hear my mom crying inside, and Trevor's voice saying something I couldn't make out. I drove to Levi's place, my hands shaking so bad I almost ran a red light. He took one look at my face and pulled me inside. "That bad?" he asked. "Worse," I said, and told him everything. He was quiet for a long time after I finished. Then he said, "Your family is fucked up, man. Like, genuinely fucked up." "Yeah," I said. "I know." Over the next few days, I couldn't stop thinking about it. Specifically about what my mom had said, that the son she raised died in that hospital, that I came back different. She was right about that part. I did come back different. I came back knowing exactly what I meant to them, which was nothing. A week later, Michelle called me again. "Your mom has been collecting sympathy cards," she said. "Like cards people sent her after they heard about your loss. She keeps them in this decorative box in her bedroom." "How do you know that?" I asked. "Your dad told my mom," Michelle said. "He said sometimes he catches her reading them when she's alone. She cries over them like they're love letters." I felt sick, actually physically sick. "There's more," Michelle said. "She told extended family you have permanent brain damage from the accident. That's why no one's reached out to you. She said you can't travel or handle stress." "What?" I said. "Why would she tell them that?" "So she didn't have to explain why you weren't at family events anymore," Michelle said. "Aunt Janet asked about you at Christmas last year, and your mom said you were too impaired to make the trip." I hung up and immediately called Aunt Janet. She picked up on the second ring. "Hello? Aunt Janet, it's me," I said. There was a pause. "Oh my God," she said. "Sweetheart, how are you? Your mother said you couldn't talk on the phone." "My mother lied," I said, and I told her everything. Aunt Janet was silent for a long time. Then she said, I don't even know what to say. She seemed so heartbroken when she talked about you." "She's heartbroken that I'm alive and fine," I said. After we hung up, my phone rang immediately. It was my dad. "What do you think you're doing?" he demanded. "Telling the truth," I said. "You're harassing the family," he said. "Your mother is beside herself. You need to stop making phone calls and stirring things up." "I'm not stirring anything up," I said. "I'm correcting her lies." "You're causing her stress," he said. "Can you please just stop, for her sake?" "No," I said. "I'm done protecting her feelings while she destroys my reputation." "You're being vindictive," he said. "I'm being honest," I said, and hung up. Trevor called an hour later. I almost didn't answer, but something made me pick up. "You need to leave Mom alone," he said. "No, hello, no, how are you?" Just straight to the accusation. "I'm not doing anything to Mom," I said. "You're calling family members and turning them against her," Trevor said. "You're trying to make her look bad." "She is bad," I said. "She's been lying about me for 2 years." "So what?" Trevor said. "It doesn't even affect you. You cut us off anyway. You basically are dead to this family. Why do you care what she tells people?" There it was again, that phrase. "Dead to this family." "Because it's my life she's lying about," I said. "My accident she's using for sympathy. My reputation she's destroying by telling people I'm brain damaged." "She's not destroying anything," Trevor said. "You did that yourself when you decided we weren't good enough for you." "I decided?" I couldn't believe this. "I decided? You all abandoned me when I was dying." "We were busy," Trevor said. "It was my wedding week. You know how stressful that is." "I broke my spine," I shouted. "And you survived," Trevor said flatly. "So what's the problem? Mom needs this. She needs to feel like people care about her. Why can't you just let her have this one thing?" "Because it's not real," I said. "The sympathy isn't real because the tragedy isn't real. I'm alive." "But the son she knew is dead," Trevor said. "The person you were before the accident. The person who understood family obligations, who didn't hold grudges, who was forgiving and kind. That person is gone. So maybe she's right. Maybe the son she raised did die." I hung up. I couldn't listen anymore. That night, I couldn't sleep. I kept thinking about my mom, sitting in her bedroom, reading sympathy cards from people who thought I was dead, getting emotional over words written for a ghost. The next day, I decided to drive to my parents' house one more time. Not to yell, not to argue, just to see if maybe somehow there was something I'd missed. Some explanation that would make this make sense. I got there around dinner time. My dad's car was in the driveway, so was Trevor's. I walked up and rang the doorbell. My dad answered. When he saw me, he sighed. "What now?" he asked. "I want to talk to Mom," I said. "She doesn't want to talk to you," he said. "You've upset her enough." "Too bad," I said, and pushed past him into the house. My mom was in the dining room, setting the table. Trevor was there too, sitting at the table scrolling through his phone. They both looked up when I walked in. "Get out," my mom said immediately. "No," I said. "Not until you hear me out." "There's nothing to hear," she said. "You've made your feelings clear. You hate us, you think we're terrible people, and you want everyone to know it." "I don't want everyone to know anything," I said. "I just want you to stop lying about me." "I'm not lying," she said, her voice rising. "Everything I've said is true. I did lose my son. You're not the same person anymore. So that makes it okay to tell people I'm dead? To tell them I have brain damage?" "I never said you were dead," she insisted. "I said I lost you, that's true." "Semantics," I said. "You know exactly what people think when you say that." "What do you want from me?" she asked, and she was crying again. "Do you want me to send out a mass email telling everyone you're fine? That you recovered and you're perfectly healthy and just hate your family? Is that what you want?" "I want you to stop using my accident for sympathy," I said. "I want you to stop showing people my hospital bracelet and crying about how hard your life is because of what happened to me. You don't understand," she said, shaking her head. "You've never understood. All my life I've been invisible. No one sees me, no one cares about me. But when they thought I'd lost you, suddenly people noticed me. They brought me food, they called to check on me, they asked how I was doing. For the first time in 50 years, people saw me." I stared at her. "So you're admitting it. You're using me to feel important." "I'm admitting that for once in my life I matter to people," she said. "And if that means holding on to the grief of losing who you used to be, then yes, that's what I'm doing." "That's sick," I said. "That's survival," she shot back. "For God's sake," my dad cut in. He'd been standing in the doorway this whole time just watching. Now he stepped forward. "Can we please just move past this? It's done. What's done is done." "No," I said. "We're not moving past this." My dad looked at me with these exhausted eyes. "Please," he said. "Your mother has threatened to leave multiple times over this. I can't handle being alone. Just let her have this. What harm does it really do if some strangers think you're gone?" I couldn't believe what I was hearing. "You want me to let her lie about me because you're afraid she'll leave you?" "I'm asking you to have some compassion," he said, "for both of us." "I had compassion," I said. "I had it when I was in the hospital and you didn't come. I had it when you blamed me for ruining Trevor's wedding because I nearly died. I had it when you showed up to rehab and told me I should have timed my accident better. I don't have any left." My mom was sobbing now, full, ugly crying. Trevor stood up and put his arm around her. "You happy now?" he asked me. "You made her cry. Again. Congratulations." "She made herself cry," I said, "by lying and getting caught." "Just leave," Trevor said. "You're not welcome here." "Finally," I said. "Something we agree on." I looked at my mom one last time. She was still crying, her face buried in Trevor's shoulder. My dad was standing there looking helpless, like he always did when things got hard. "You can keep your dead son," I said. "Keep your sympathy cards. Keep your hospital bracelet. Keep whatever story makes you feel important. I'm done trying to exist in a family that prefers my absence." I turned and walked toward the door. As I reached it, I heard my mom's voice behind me. "Wait," she said. I stopped but didn't turn around. "Please don't do this," she said. "You're my son. I love you." I looked back at her. She was reaching toward me, tears streaming down her face. For a second, just a second, I wondered if maybe this was real. If maybe she actually did love me and this was all just some massive misunderstanding. Then I saw her other hand. It was clutching that hospital bracelet, the one she showed people at church, the one she used as a prop in her grief performance. "No, you don't," I said quietly. "You love the sympathy you get from losing me. That's not the same thing." I walked out. As I got in my car, I could hear her crying through the open door. Then I heard her voice, muffled but clear enough. She was on the phone with someone. "Yes, hello, this is Patricia calling. I need someone to talk to. My son, he came by today and he was so cruel to me. I don't know what I did to deserve this." Already rewriting the story. Already making herself the victim. Already collecting new sympathy from whoever was on the other end of that phone. I drove away and didn't look back. Thanks for watching till the end. Make sure to like and subscribe to not miss the next story.